Good evening. Welcome to the Ghost N.E.A.R show, where we explore and discuss paranormal activity. I am your host, Keith Johnson, the co-founder of New England Anomalies Research, and we have a very special guest tonight, someone who was on our show about 9 years ago, and we're glad to have him back because he's got a lot more adventures and a lot more stories since then. He's a scriptwriter, an actor, an author, and a paranormal investigator of all things. So, I'd like to welcome my good friend, Jason J Tavares.
Thanks for having me.
How you doing, Jason?
Good.
Good to see you again.
You too, buddy.
You're looking good, looking well.
Oh, you too.
I also want to thank you especially for your service to our country.
Oh, no problem.
We do appreciate that very, very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
So what's been going on? I mean, that's a whole story in itself. You've got so much going on now. And
we should never, you and I, take this far apart of talking because it ends up being a 10-hour conversation.
Right, exactly.
So it's
exactly.
it's hard to cover like 9 years. But I went to the Bermuda Triangle, which is pretty neat. I was in Bermuda, and my girlfriend added a night excursion onto the trip package. So I got to go at night on a glass-bottom boat to the northernmost point of the Bermuda Triangle, which is Daniel Head Island. So, and then a lot of weird stuff happened after that when I got home, which...
you were followed,
Yeah, I feel like something...
I'm glad you made it back, though.
Yeah,
Not everybody makes it back.
The only weird thing happened on the trip is the toilet flushed once in the room.
Oh, yeah?
But I don't know if that happens on ships. It flushed on its own.
Oh,
like in the middle of the night, and I said, is there anybody in the bathroom? And my girlfriend's like, no. So I went in there, nobody was in there but the toilet flush. That's the creepiest thing on there that happened on there until we got home. But I don't want to talk about that because that's like another hour of talking.
Right.
But it went on and on for about 3 months of problems. And everybody told me it was because of that, going to the Bermuda Triangle. And I said, millions of people go to the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah.
Why would it, land on me? But
you know, it's interesting. When something follows you of paranormal nature, quite often, for whatever reason, it will last about 3 days and then stop. Sometimes for some people it's 3 weeks. You was 3 months.
Of bad luck, yeah.
Gee.
And it really showed like how strong she and I are to get through it, because there was a lot of stuff. And it was stuff that even I was like talking to a buddy of mine about, and he's like, oh man, you guys are going to snap. But we had each other to get through everything, but it was so much stuff.
That is like a movie script.
Oh, it could be, actually. It really could be. And I was actually in a college class in the summer, which I found out I didn't need on top of it all. And I didn't realize the class would be that in depth. I got an A in it, which is good. I did very well in the class, but it was a whole semester of college in 32 days. Really? So I came back from school, from the trip, and now I'm doing this class, and all this stuff is taking place. And I'm still doing this class. And I was like, oh my God, but it was, you're right, it could be a script. And I may use the material in a script because
Great.
It almost sounds like you're lying when you talk about that much bad luck. But yeah, it went on, and it stopped.
Well, I believe that. I do believe there is such a thing. And I hope it's not haunting you now.
No, it wasn't even haunting. It was just like, I'll give you a for instance. The refrigerator died. The refrigerator was working fine.
Yep.
The ice machine went and it flooded the kitchen, and I couldn't find the shutoff valve in the basement.
Oh my goodness.
So my whole kitchen got flooded. So
wow.
But we finally found it. I found another valve. I was shutting the handles. Nothing shut the water. So that's just one instance.
Wow.
And we blame it on the trip, but I don't know. I did go to the Bridgewater Triangle, as I told you, in Massachusetts. My friend lives in the center in Taunton. And he's been in like 14 of my films. We've known each other since high school. And I took a stone home, which I probably shouldn't have, this big crystal that I dug out of the ground. So I said maybe it was the crystal that did it, because I only pulled this out of the ground maybe 8 months ago. So when I got back and all this stuff took place, I took that crystal and threw it in the ocean. So now it's no longer in my house, because you never know if that was being powered from it.
Crystal does have some power to it, really.
Yeah, he liked it too, my friend Rich, and he goes, I don't want to take that home though. He goes, you take it to your house. And I said, nothing's going to happen. And then he brought it up later. He goes, maybe that had something to do with everything that happened. I said, yeah, possibly.
I have some friends who collect all sorts of stuff, whether it's cursed or not, weird stuff. But they haven't really had a problem with it.
I just kind of blamed it on that. I said, this has to be because of something. So,
right.
Might as well, if you can get rid of something that may be causing it, like a rock, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
just never take any volcanic stone from Hawaii Hawaii, because then you
Yeah,
have...
I did. That's the bad
You did?
Yeah, I took stuff from Hawaii home. I took like
You don't
coral.
have Madame Pele after you there?
What was that, like a ghost or something?
Well, she's kind of like the spirit of the guards, the volcanic activity there.
I took home coral and everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Well,
they said you're not supposed to, but I did. This was 1999
yeah.
when I went.
Well, you survived, so...
Yeah, nothing from that yet
Yeah.
that I know of. I never know, so.
Did you ever feel like you were kind of in danger while you were nervous while you were in Bermuda?
Not at all. No, we even we went out in the town, took buses and cabs, and yeah, it was pretty laid back and very inexpensive.
Yeah.
Which was good. I mean, like you could take a ride on the bus for like $7.
Yes.
Which wasn't bad, and they go a pretty good distance, like back to the ship and everything.
Oh, good.
So, yeah, it was a good
for you.
time. It was nice to get away for like 7 to 10 days or so.
Oh, good for you. Good for you. And there's something that's more nearby, closer to home, called the Bridgewater Triangle.
Yeah.
And you've been there and you've explored there.
Yeah, we're going back again for the 5th time. We even went at night. We went like on a night move.
Wow.
A bunch of guys through the woods, and I didn't take my girlfriend on this, which she wants to go next time. But we went like at night through the woods. Now during the day, it's it's just a park.
Yes,
people
right.
ride bikes there and everything like that. But Copper Cut Road. I think it's called Copper Cut Road, the road where they say the truck driver follows people.
Oh.
Have you ever heard that story?
Not completely, but...
We parked over there and went off Copper Cut Road into the woods. Me and my friend Rich were walking, and we heard a stick break. Now, this is during the day.
Yeah.
Sunny day, nice day, maybe a year ago. This stick broke so loud, and he goes, oh, it was probably a deer. And I said, unless a deer has a hoof like this big, I said, that was loud, and there's nobody out there.
Yeah.
So we're just walking and talking. I happened to look back, and out of my peripheral, something like a black figure. It didn't look human, just looked like a circle, like a black movement, moved behind a tree like that. And I saw it. And I didn't say anything to him.
And this was in the daytime?
Daytime, yeah. And we kept walking and talking. And then up ahead, he goes, hey, did you see that? And I said, what? He saw the same thing. And I didn't say it. And I said, I saw it back there. And I made a video of it. I put it on Jason's Disturbing Experiences. It's like something I do on my YouTube channel. But he saw it too. And I said, what did you see? And he goes, it just looked like a black figure, like kind of peeked out. And I said, I saw it back there. And I didn't say anything to you. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
So we both had the same experience during the day on this one movement that we went on. But then when we went at night, nothing. We walked in. I think what we did wrong at night is we didn't stop and like focus on an area. But walking at night's great. You don't going down that long dirt road for like 4 miles.
I just wouldn't do it alone. I don't want to fall down a well or something like that.
Yeah, like 3 or 4 guys. You get to listen to the owls and the coyotes and things.
Yeah.
So that's kind of neat.
Wow, what an atmosphere, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Like when you go to the cliff, I don't get any weird where the woman committed suicide.
Yeah.
I guess that's the story.
Wouldn't catch me near a cliff at night either.
Yeah, the cliff it's kind of an odd cliff. I wouldn't get too close to the edge.
No, don't worry, I won't.
Yeah, because you never know, you know what I mean? But when you're up there, it's neat to be up there. I mean, if all this stuff happened there.
Yeah.
I got the crystal story. I got the shadow thing we both saw. And we met a weird guy at the gas station before going there, which was really weird. He came up, and I made a video about it, talking about it. He just came up and just started talking random stuff, and it looked like he hadn't showered in like 2 weeks.
Really?
And he was parked at the pump, and he was telling us, this is no joke. And my friend Rich and I standing there with our sausage sandwiches and our coffee at the gas station during the day, and he's telling us how he killed demons, and he's going back to kill more demons.
Wow.
And he's telling us that. So when he's done, this guy walks back. This is before we saw the shadows in the woods. And he walks back to his truck, and my friend Rich is, as I said, he's kind of a dry character.
Yeah.
He's standing there with his coffee cup, and he goes, I'm surprised you didn't give him your card to subscribe to your YouTube channel. And I'm like, Rich, just get in the car.
Right,
So,
yeah. Wow.
we took off from there, but it made the whole experience funny that it started off with that, and then we saw what we saw.
That would be a great character.
Oh, Rich,
script,
I'm actually writing him into a script.
Yeah.
Rich, because he's such a dry character. Oh, the guy at the gas station, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, he would be. Yeah, very animated. Just came out of nowhere, and
Wow.
he had a vehicle. Didn't look like he was hungry or anything. He just, whatever he was, we was.
And as you and I both know, there's a lot of folklore associated with the Bridgewater Triangle.
Yeah.
And of course, Lauren Coleman he coined the phrase Bridgewater Triangle. And there's a Rhode Island Bigfoot called Big Rhodey. Now, my brother coined that phrase.
Oh, nice.
But anyway, there's certain creatures in the woods in the Bridgewater Triangle.
Puckwudgie.
Yep.
And my friend loves those, my buddy Rich.
Yeah. Yep, pukwudgie. Could you describe what a pukwudgie is for those of our audience that may not be familiar?
I really don't know much about it. I wish he was here. He could tell. He loves it. He has a pukwudgie shirt and everything.
It's not a cookie. It's not a fudge cookie.
No, it's not an elf, but it's not something. It's kind of like an elf. It's a smaller being. Like there's a good video on it where a guy gives testimony that him and his dog.
Yes.
I think that's from like the 70s or the 80s, and he was walking out there, I guess, and in his, I don't know what the man's name was, but in his story, I guess he says he ran into one, and he lived at the bridge, near the Bridgewater Triangle, and his dog basically told him to not go any further. Like he went by how the dog was reacting.
Yes.
And the thing was asking him to come over, calling him over. And the guy seemed like a sane individual.
Yes.
It was just something he went through, and he stuck to his story his whole life.
Now they're kind of like pictured like a hobgoblin sort of creature, but I think there's a much more respectful history of them. That at one time they did get along very well with humans, but something went wrong, something went awry, and now they're kind of pranksters, and even they can cause mischief and mishaps and tragedy even. Responsible for some tragedies. So
kind of like the Mothman.
Yes.
He's at the site of catastrophes.
Yeah.
That's a scary thing.
They seem to have some wisdom to them too.
There has to be another world going on within Oz, because like I showed you the photo on the last show of the woman I took in Romania.
Yes.
And I took that with a disposable cardboard job lot camera, and I picked that up on. I didn't know it till I came back here and developed it, but that picture tells everything. Anyone who's a disbeliever, I show them that picture and they're blown away. And they're like, "What is that?" And I said, "It's something. It's a black spirit, a demonic spirit. But it's as clear as just making you a black figure, a solid figure."
Right. Right, exactly. Speaking of Romania, I want to thank you for
no problem.
Bring Vlad along there, and I appreciate that very much.
Yeah, I wanted to bring it last time because I figure I've had it now 21 years. Then I had it, 10 or 12 years, and I was like, it would look great on your table.
Yes, it will.
Or wherever you'd like to put it.
Right. Looks great right there, too.
Nice.
Yep. Now, Vlad the Impaler, of course, he's kind of a hero in Romania. And he's not looked upon as so evil or anything like we look upon him. He's looked upon as a hero who saved his country and fought for his country and his people.
In a frightening way, though.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes. Very frightening.
His tactics were sending people with tuberculosis into the ranks of the other armies. Or impaling people.
Yes.
The whole impaling thing was frightening.
But nobody would go against him when they saw how ferocious he could be.
Yeah, if you see how you're going to end up, it made a lot of people run.
Right. And I've heard he was kind of a product of his time, too. I mean, he was medieval, and medieval warfare was usually different than it is today. Not always, but usually.
In a way, it's not any worse. Because, death is death.
Yes, true.
If you're getting cooked by a bomb or you're getting, impaled.
True. Very true.
Horrible either way,
Very true.
So, I actually stood at the point where his wife committed suicide.
Did you really?
Yeah, at the castle that he had where you go up to 1,500 stairs.
Yes.
And I didn't go right to the edge, but, because of course you don't want to fall.
Right.
But I think it was a 1,000-foot drop. And she committed suicide off that ledge. But I was right in that area.
Right.
Which was pretty interesting.
Now, as I heard, the castle itself was stormed by the enemy, and rather than being taken alive and abused, she actually took her own life.
Took her own life.
That's the reason.
He always kept his men on the ground instead of an elevated position, which is different, Right. At least that's what the tour guides and, they told us there.
Now, getting back to Massachusetts again for a moment, New England, there's another story that's associated with there. The Dover Demon.
I went there, too, to the wall.
You went to the wall?
Yeah, I didn't see anything. It was during the day, and then we went out to eat. Everything we do, we end up going out to eat afterwards, because you get hungry doing that kind of stuff,
Now, would you describe the Dover Demon? This took place in April of 1977.
Yeah.
And it was seen for a couple of nights and never seen again.
Nah.
It was seen by some teenagers. And two of them didn't know each other, but they described the same thing. Was
it seen again in 2006?
I don't know. Maybe that was one of us out there. I don't know.
Oh, you never know, yeah.
Yeah, because some of us went out. Tim Weisberg and Matt Moniz. Matt Moniz was actually we were on the radio on their show, Spooky South Coast. And we were in the studio, and Matt Moniz and someone else, they were out the actual location to see if this thing would reappear, and of course it didn't. But could you describe that for us?
Well, I haven't seen it.
What they saw.
Well, for what
I
they
know
saw.
you didn't see it. You didn't see it. But.
Yeah, it looks like an alien, actually. It looks like the dark eyes, the pale skin, kind of like smooth looking, kind of like when people describe an encounter with an alien.
Yes. The weird thing is about this thing, it seemed to be out of its element.
Yeah, like it was lost.
Yes. Very, very lost.
It could have came from in the ground, because now they're talking, there's a lot of channels that talk about beings that live in the earth.
Yes.
And they don't have pigment, kind of like fish at the bottom of the ocean.
Right.
The ones that are in the deepest parts, they're clear.
Yes.
So, because you don't have any sunlight.
This thing had little to no pigment.
Yeah.
Sorry, very smooth. And the large, large eyes. But it never harmed anyone, of course.
Yeah, not that we know of, yeah.
Not that, yes, true.
People
not
go
that we
missing
know.
all the time, and, they blame it always on human traffickers, which it could be.
Yes.
But it could be other stuff, too, that people don't want to say.
Right. And a lot of national parks responsible for people going missing, and that's a big mystery to me.
Yeah.
Why so many people just go missing.
I
And
think,
sometimes they were on a hike, and they're right next to them almost, and they turn around, the person's gone.
A lot of times in parks, people don't listen. Like they tell people don't go, like there's a campsite here, but then there's one, 100 meters down the road, but they want to go to this one because it's convenient. You're already told not to go.
Yes.
And you got grizzly bears out there,
Oh, yeah,
and
good
they're
point,
expert
yeah.
hunters.
Yeah.
They could be right next to you. You don't know it. It's a 1,000-pound creature, so.
Wow.
Yeah. A lot of it is probably mysterious stuff. I wouldn't doubt it. You never know. For the stuff I've seen, I mean, I'm extremely creative, but I'm absolutely not insane. I can say that into the camera. I'm absolutely not.
Good.
I have like that photo that you saw.
Yes.
And I have stories and sometimes witnesses, like in the Bridgewater Triangle.
Yes.
That figure I saw. I said nothing. Rich kept walking. I was walking with him. He saw it. And then we discussed it, and that was incredible that we both saw something. But
yes, when you have somebody to collaborate with you.
yeah, especially now, if I had said it and then he saw it later, I would have believed him because Rich is extremely, trustworthy guy. But with me seeing it and not saying it and then having him do it, it was really something. I was like, wow. I think it was about a year ago, 2 years ago, maybe.
What do you think that was, in your opinion?
I don't know. You never know. I think there's like multiple universes going on.
Yeah.
Like they say something's transdimensional. If that's a powerful area, you never know. That's where they may dwell.
Yeah, Sandra's very interested in that, and she does a lot of research on that.
Does she go to that area ever and walk around? Or?
We have been there, yes. Quite some time ago, we have been there. But I would like to go back sometime.
Yeah, it's a good place to go, especially if you have a small group and everybody's interested in what you're doing. If you got somebody who isn't, it kind of ruins the whole thing,
But what area is that actually, when they say that the triangle?
To be honest with you, how it's broken up. Like you got Taunton, my friend lives in Taunton. You got Abington, Freetown, and Rehoboth are the points of the triangle, with Taunton being in the center. I usually go to his house and he drives.
Yes.
So after we leave his house, I have a cup of coffee in my hand. I'm really not paying attention until we get there. We're talking because we don't see each other for like months. And then we end up hanging out. So the actual, I know Copper Cut Road. If I were to drive there, I don't know how to get there without GPS, just being honest. But getting in there, like I could tell you like some of the layout. Like you got the power lines. If you follow the power lines, that went out for miles. We didn't see anything out there. But where the cliffs are, that's something, it's really cool to go to the cliffs, even if you don't get near the edge. And that area probably is more paranormal since death that you know of happened there, plus the Indian Wars.
Yes.
I mean, there's been so much death there, which makes it paranormal.
Right.
But the whole ins and outs, I really don't. I couldn't say I know the layout because I only know it when I go with him. But I've been there 4 times now.
Wow, 4 times.
Yeah, for nighttime too, which is pretty wild. But we never slept overnight there because I guess you can get arrested. Because it's trespassing. We don't want to get arrested at 50-something years old.
Right. What are you doing out here?
It's like, how old are you guys? I'm 52, 51.
Yeah.
So.
Are you familiar with Christopher Balzano?
No.
He's an author, a friend of mine, paranormal investigator, very, very knowledgeable, and he's written about the Bridgewater Triangle. He's written about Freetown State Forest, Dark Woods, one of his books that's from. We've actually had him on the show quite some time ago, interviewing him about that. But he even said there's zombies sighted there.
Really?
Yeah.
The newest thing is that giant wolf with muscles. Have you seen that one? I can't remember the name of it.
That's like the Dog Man?
Dog Man, yeah.
Yes.
It looks like the Hulk. It's as big as the Hulk. I mean, I don't know if anyone saw that. I'm not doubting people, but I mean, how does that guy hide?
Yeah,
He's bigger than Bigfoot.
yeah, that's pretty intimidating.
Yeah, so I mean, that's, you never know. You can't doubt what people see, though.
Right, exactly, exactly. So that, what would you advise people if they go to a location like this?
I'd go there and not look for things. Because when you are looking, you're not going to find stuff. If you're just like you and I, let's say you and I were sitting here having a cup of coffee, and we're looking for something, you're not as prone to see it as if you're just not looking.
Right.
Let it appear on its own.
That's true.
Like when we were walking through the woods, we walked through the woods a lot for ruins too. We like to look for ruins of buildings and things. I didn't think we'd see anything that day. And I saw something out of my peripheral, and Rich saw something ahead, so we weren't expecting that.
Yes.
But even though we were there for that reason, we weren't actively looking for it, So.
Wow. So there's been sightings of pterodactyls there, supposedly, thunderbird. There's all sorts of prehistoric creatures that they say have been sighted there. And
that's crazy.
Another reason I wouldn't go there by myself, even in the daytime. But you, like your experience, you want to have somebody to collaborate with.
Yeah, because when you see something, like I have a lot of weird stuff in my life that's taken place with a witness. I had a friend, he died May 24th, 2016. My dog died Friday, April 22nd, 2016. So I lose my best friend, and then my best furry friend, and then I lose one of my good human friends a month later, give or take. Well, I'm driving to my mother's house maybe a few months later, and I call my mom, and she answers the phone, and it was his voice, and my girlfriend was driving the car. And he always answered the phone. He went, hello. That was his voice. He said hello, and I went, Ma. I said, who's there? She goes, what? And Gabby, that was driving, my girlfriend, she goes, that was the chief, because his nickname was the chief. He was like 95 when he died, this guy. I knew him since I moved back to Rhode Island. Nicest guy. He fought in 22 battles in World War II.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he retired like in the 70s. So this guy was like, just like a wealth of knowledge about everything. I mean, he's lived through everything the country's seen for almost 100 years,
Wow.
And, he died, years back, but his voice answered the phone. I called my mom to see if you want us to bring anything else over for dinner, and it went, hello. And she heard it driving. I said, you heard that? And she's like, yeah. It's scary. I mean, things like that. I mean, how would somebody explain that?
Right.
Yeah, my mom's a little old lady that lives alone. Her voice doesn't sound like his.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend heard it driving on a sunny day.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
My goodness.
But I've had multiple things like that with a witness. I had one in Indiana, 1997. I used to work out at Bally's. Yeah. And I lived in Indiana for like 7 years. I had a friend named Rob back then. We still talk here and there today, but we were good friends. I had an extra pass to go to the gym. I said, you want to go? He said, yeah, sure. We're driving in Indianapolis, and there was a bus parked. And I was driving my 1987 Nissan. It was a little white Nissan I had. Windows down, another nice day. Bus is over here. I look again, and people are getting off the bus. And there was a woman that got off the bus. She had on a long trench, like a trench-style coat, long hair. When she turned her head, it looked like a cobra. And when I saw it, I looked over at him, and he said, oh, crap. And I went, oh, crap, what? And he goes, nothing. So I cut in front of the bus, and I was going to get out of the car and walk over there. And I didn't. He stopped me. He goes, don't go. And I said, tell me what you saw. And he goes, it looked like a cobra. And I said, the lady. And he goes, yeah. And then she got back in the group.
So your friend kind of saw?
We both saw it, yeah. Oh. Sunny day, Indianapolis, 1997, maybe 1998. And he talked about it for years. Like I brought it up, and then maybe, 2007 or 8, we're talking on the phone, and he didn't want to talk about it anymore. He said, he goes, oh, yeah, vaguely, I don't know. He goes, could have been anything. I said, I saw her face looked like a snake between her hair flip. You saw it, and now you're scared to talk about it. So I never brought it up to him again. But it was something we both saw, and it wasn't like we were looking to see it. It was just there, like showing us, here I am.
Do you think that could have been a shapeshifter or something?
I don't know. I mean,
both saw it.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff I've seen, and like the lady in the picture, how do you explain it? I mean, if somebody were to explain it to me and break it down to say it's not real, these things you've seen or heard or whatnot, I'd be welcome to, hear what they have to say about it.
Right.
But for me being an extremely rational person, I don't know how to explain it. And why it always comes to me, I don't know, because I've had a great deal of off-the-wall experiences.
Goodness. I'd also like to briefly touch on, in our last few minutes, about your film career.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, I'm glad it's prospering.
Yeah, it's going well. I mean, the YouTube part needs help because the channel's doing okay, but not great. But on the bigger side of it, yeah, it's looking very good.
Yeah.
It's like, I can finally say, like, not speculating, but it's actually, you know.
I've seen some of your films. Very, very well done.
Thanks. They're only $100 movies, too, the short ones.
Well, that's good that you can do a good piece of work for.
Yeah, I have good actors,
without
too.
breaking the bank, and yeah.
Yeah, I got lucky. I mean, all the people I work with, I'm not a very good actor, I don't think, but I think they bring it together because a lot of them are really good actors.
Yeah,
and
if everybody
actresses.
gets together and collaborates. And
No, I appreciate you watching, definitely.
oh yeah, you've got some good stories out there.
Nice.
Some of them are in the horror genre. And
Yeah, a lot of them
mystery.
have lessons too, like a small lesson in it.
yes.
You know, and something for after somebody watches it, maybe they take a little something away from it, you know.
Like you've got a little Rod Serling in you there, you know.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite writers.
Did that influence you?
Yeah, as a kid, definitely. I had Rod Serling, Washington Irving, and George Orwell. Those are my favorite ones.
Good.
Especially Animal Farm. I mean, that's something I think everybody should read.
Yes.
Should be mandatory reading. It used to be when I was a kid in school.
Yeah, it was.
It really leaves you with a lot. It makes you think, you know.
Yep.
Everything's a pecking order.
Right, exactly. And you can see that a lot in society
Yeah, even
today.
with children. I mean, when you look at kids playing,
Yep.
there's always going to be one kid, hey, let's do this. He's the leader, and everybody will follow. And that makes
yeah.
the pyramid.
Oh yeah, sometime I got to tell you about this stage play that was done long time ago. This is, I'm talking like 1974, but it was so realistic and so spot on about the games people play. It was called Game Spawn. It was actually a cursed play.
Really?
Yep. I only saw it perform once. I think it was only performed once, but I know the author wound up committing suicide, and there was a lot of weird stuff went on with that play.
Yes.
But it was true to life.
That's
Very
something,
true to life. This is the games we play behind the scenes. But anyway, I wish you good luck, and you're right. Let's not make it so long next time.
I wish we could do a 3-hour show, because we could easily do a 3-hour show.
We could easily do that. You know.
So maybe in the future, I mean, get a bigger time slot, and
Yeah. Yep.
it'd be cool. Have multiple people on, and you know.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to do a round table.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good luck. Anything coming up you'd like to mention?
A couple of short films. Yeah, nothing really. Nothing until the next show.
Okay.
When I have the big stuff, I'll come back on.
Oh, good.
Absolutely.
Good. Oh, definitely. We've got to have you on.
I like to share that stuff with you. So.
And we'll be doing some investigations ourselves too.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I'd like to hook up with you. And
I look forward to it, definitely.
great. Well, you take care, and thank you so much for being our guest
thank you.
again. It's great to see you. You're looking good, and
Yeah, you too.
I'm glad things are going well.
Thank you.
All right, you take care, and God bless you.
You too, buddy.
All right. Thank you for watching, everyone. We appreciate it. And there's the man to contact. You want to contact Jason J Tavares. Take care, my friend.
You too.